I passed the hardest moments alone while everyone believed I was fine. In my recovery, this quote was really true because when I wasn't feeling well, what I did was staying at home. I didn't want to see anyone. Most people they didn't even knew that I was feeling like that because I just didn't want to explain something because I just couldn't explain what was going on. Of course, I felt all those symptoms, but yeah, how do you explain them, right? So it costs so much energy to explain them to people who don't know how it feels or just don't understand what you're going through. So I saved my energy, and most of the time, I decided to just stay at home alone. Yeah, so most people just didn't know what I was going through. Only my parents, they were the ones that knew how I was feeling most of the time. So every time when I felt I felt like I was so struggling and didn't know what to do anymore, I called them, and I didn't think, yeah, without them I could have done this. Of course, if they weren't there, I needed to, but they were my biggest support in my recovery. And I lived in Amsterdam during that time when I sustained a concussion. And Amsterdam is so busy. There are so many, yeah, well, so many bikes, so many people. Traffic is insane. So when you go outside in Amsterdam, even if you go to a park or something, it's very busy. And this is something that I didn't notice before I sustained a concussion because then I was enjoying all those things. But after this concussion, I just became aware of the busyness in the city, also about how busy my life was. I was always running, I was meeting people, I was partying. I worked, of course, 40 hours a week. I was always busy. And then I had the accident. And of course, I couldn't do anything anymore. I had to stay at home. And during that time, I lived with two friends who were also colleagues of mine. So I really loved my job. And those people were all from my age. So we really did a lot of things together. So I lived with them, I partied with them, I worked with them. But yeah, I couldn't do my work anymore. I couldn't party anymore. I couldn't go even outside the house anymore. So this changed as well. And in the beginning, it's well, everyone is still asking you, "How are you doing?" They're texting you just to check in with you. But after a few months, and of course, after the first year, people were just like, okay, you're still not better yet. They just don't understand how this is possible or how to deal with this. So those text messages, they stopped. People didn't visit me that much anymore, and I was still living with those two friends in the apartment in Amsterdam, which was also too much for me. And at the same time, it was very confronting because they were still working and they, yes, were still coming home with their stories about work, about their lives, about the parties. So I missed all those things and I still heard of them and I really wanted to be there as well. So this was very hard. And I decided during that time that I really need a place for myself because I was so low in energy and I couldn't do all those things. And it was making me sad to hear about their stories. So I moved to a place for myself, just a small studio in Amsterdam. And then I was there, but I also realized that now I was really alone because I didn't see them anymore at home. It was very easy, of course, to talk to them because they were living there and didn't need to make an appointment with them. I didn't need to invite them to my home, So it's a lot more effort to meet someone when you're living alone. So if I would meet them or wanted to meet them, now I had to plan something. And what if I wasn't feeling well on that day? So I mostly stayed at home alone. Sometimes I went for a short walk with a friend or with a colleague or something like that. But when I wasn't feeling well, I was alone at home and really thinking about my life and really having those questions like, will this be my life forever? What can I do to move forwards? Because I already tried so many things to move forwards, and I already visited my doctor for multiple times, but my doctor couldn't help, and he offered me a referral to a psychologist, and yeah, just advised me to rest and to not stay at home too long, because the longer I stayed at home, the longer I wasn't working, yeah, the harder it was. That was what he told me. And yeah, I just realized I want to go back to work, but I just couldn't. But yeah, I didn't want to stay at home as well. So I pushed myself a lot and I went back to work way too soon. So for everyone who is listening now and feel they are in the same situation, they are at home, but they want to go back to work, but they not feel ready for work, please listen to your body. I think this is the biggest thing that I regret, that I pushed myself too hard to go back to work, and everything became worse because I was pushing myself. My symptoms became worse, and in the end I just, yeah, I just couldn't go to work anymore, and I had to recover way longer. So yeah, so please first, if it's possible, focus on your health, on your body before you go back to work. Work is just work, and your health is everything, because without that you can't do anything, right? So yeah, let this be your reminder. So yeah, so this can be such a lonely journey, and that's what I when I talk to people about this on Instagram or in the concussion community, they all say the same thing. And sometimes I just think like, oh, we are with so many people and we're all feeling alone. So this need to change, right? And I also had those plans about creating an offline community. That would be so great if we could live with everyone together in one community, helping each other, growing our own vegetables, things like that. It was just like this dream that I had when I wasn't feeling well, that we could take care of each other, and yeah, because together we're stronger. And I'm still having those ideas about creating some offline community thing, but it's so hard because everyone is from another place in the world. So there, if I do this, there is a lot of traveling involved, and that's a hard thing as well. So for now, I will stick with the online community and bring people together in one place. But maybe in the future, let's see what will happen. Never know, right? Will do that. But I just want you to know that you're not alone in your recovery. So if you're having a bad day, if you feel like I'm all by myself, there are no doctors out there who can help me, or I don't have any support from friends or family, know that you're not alone, and that at this moment, I wish it wasn't, but at this moment, so many people are going through the same thing as that you are right now. And yeah, you're just not alone in this. And yeah, just remember yourself, remind yourself that this too shall pass, and that wherever you are in your recovery, that you didn't lose any progress. Because I know it can feel like that when you're in the middle of it, and when you was feeling great, and then out of nowhere you're in a setback again, and it feels like all the hard work you did, that you're lost it. But please, you remind yourself that you didn't, because most of the time when you're out of a setback, you're feeling better than before the setback. So keep that in mind, focus on that. What I also do is it sounds silly, but it's helping me. I have this gratitude journal, and I write in it on my good days, or yeah, just when I feel like, hey, I have a small win here, or I feel so grateful for this in my life, then I write it in this book. And on my worst days, especially when I was, this was in my second year, my third year, when I was feeling, when I was not feeling well, I just read those wins, those moments of gratitude. I read them again in this book, and it just helps to feel much better when you're having a bad day. So I just want to bring this up to let you know that you're not alone, and feel free to also follow me on Instagram, because there I share more about some situations that you might relate to as well. And I offer more support from there too. So feel always free to send me a message on Instagram. I'm always open for a talk. So if you feel alone and if you feel like I don't have any support, or if you want to ask me anything, feel free to reach out. I am there for you. So for now, I wish you a good day, and maybe we talk soon. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I really hope this was helpful for you. If it was, and if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube, would you maybe do one small thing in return? Leave a short review or thumbs up on YouTube. The more reviews this podcast will get, the easier it is for other people to find this podcast and to feel less alone and lost in their journey. Oh, and one last thing. I would love it if you share a helpful episode on Instagram in a post or in a story and tag the concussion community in it. Or you can always send me a direct message. I love to see who is listening. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time.